everyone, my name is Callie Crawford and I just wanted to share my story of how I've dealt with mental health. So I've mainly experienced depression and anxiety in my life. The first time I had depression was in my senior year of high school, and it was a really dark time, and it was just like I had no motivation to do anything whatsoever, and it was just hard to get up the motivation to even go to school or to come out of my room or to even get out of bed some days. And a lot of people, when I told them about this, they said that it was just moody teenage girl sadness that everyone goes through, every teenage girl goes through. And I believed them because I really didn't have any experience with mental health or depression or anything before, so I didn't know the difference. And so it was really hard to get through it. I eventually did with the help of a bunch of my friends and family. But it was still hard, and I think there were simpler ways I could have gotten through it than what I did. And then my second experience with depression was about a year ago. I was serving a mission in San Jose, California for my church, and I'd been serving for about 4 months, and that depression came again where I had no motivation to do anything, and I also had really bad anxiety. Like, I couldn't really even get out of bed without getting absolutely terrified of nothing. It was like I always assumed the worst of something that was going to happen. Like when we were out on the streets, the worst thing imaginable was going to happen. And it got to the point where I was physically sick, like I was throwing up. I was getting headaches. I would pass out when I stood up. It was just getting that bad. And I was rooming with another set of sisters who was a nurse, and she pointed out to me that it wasn't just a sadness that teenage girls experience, but I was actually experiencing depression. And so I started seeing a counselor, and he brought up medication of taking like an antidepressant or something, and that was the furthest thing from what I wanted to do, just because the stigma of mental health is that, oh, you're giving up essentially if you use medication instead of just pushing through it. And I know there's a stigma with missions that if you get depressed or if you break down, that's a sign of weakness. And I don't think that's the case at all. And people would tell me to try and just pray away this depression or this sadness I was feeling. But that's not true. As a kid, I got a lot of ear infections, and I ruptured both my eardrums actually. And when I had these ear infections, I got antibiotics and I got the help that I needed to get rid of the ear infection. It wasn't just like I decided to sit through the pain and not get the help that was right in front of me. And that's essentially the same thing with mental health. I had something that could help me, that could make life easier. And not taking it was essentially doing worse than taking it. And so ultimately I started taking an antidepressant, and at first I was terrified because it was like I was giving up, and a lot of people in my family or a lot of my friends didn't understand it, and they made me feel as if I was giving up or as if I was quitting or being weak. But that's not true at all. Anyone who experiences any type of mental health, if you take medication, if you see a counselor, if you see a therapist, whatever it is you do to cope with your mental health, that is not a sign of weakness. If anything, it's a sign of strength, and it's a sign of determination by you, which sometimes that your mental health can take that away if you're experiencing some type of mental sickness. And so I've been on an antidepressant since February of last year. I'm still on it, and I can honestly say it's saved my life and it's made my life a lot easier. And so just my advice for people who are struggling with any type of mental health: don't hide it. Don't feel disappointed that you have a mental disability or that you have something that is keeping you from being happy. That's not your fault. It's not an outside force, or it's not you just being weak and not dealing with it the way someone should. it's something that a lot of people have to deal with. And so I just know something that helps me, and that will probably help a lot of you, everyone, is just talking to someone about it, and just looking for someone to talk to, even if they haven't experienced mental health, just looking for someone to talk to. There are a lot of things you can do before self-harming or even taking your life that should never be on the table. If you need someone to talk to, your family's always there. And if they're not always there, I'm here. Even if you don't know me, I would love to talk to you, to help you through it, whatever you're going through. If you're having an anxiety attack, or if you're feeling depressed, reach out to someone, whoever it is, because fighting through something alone is a lot harder than fighting through it with people beside you. And so anyway, that's my story with depression and anxiety, and I am glad that May is the month of mental health awareness, because I think it's something that needs to be brought up and something that needs to be advertised more. And so anyway, that's my story, and I'm glad I got to share it with you all.